Yo, book nerds! Today we're going to talk about Villette by Charlotte Brontë. So if you have been on my channel for very long, you might have heard me talk about this, but in my family we have like a legend that says we're related to the Brontë sisters, and I am like on a mission to read all of the Brontë novels. I am not very far into this mission, I'll admit. But this was the first book that I've read by Charlotte Brontë, and I have a lot of thoughts. This was a very long book. It's over 500 pages. It was kind of time consuming to read, but I also had a lot going on in my life, so it's not really a commentary on the book. I really enjoyed the book. I loved it. Now, side note, I used to love these Penguin cloth-bound classics, but this is the first time I've actually read from one. I have many, but this is the first time I've actually read one of them, and the like gold foil or whatever you want to call it, the artwork came off in my hands so easily. The first time I sat down to read it, it came off in my hands. So it really got beat up so easily. Like this whole side is worn away. Like it just from holding it. And again, that happened the first time I read it. I sat down to read it and my hands were covered in gold afterwards. So like these just aren't built to be used, I guess. And they're more for show. But that, again, is a commentary on the edition and not the book itself. Overall, I really, really liked this book. You're following Lucy, who she's kind of an unlikable main character. She's got opinions. She's very, like, judgmental at times, but she also cares about things very deeply. She's been like, her life has been kind of rough. You don't know everything that happened to her, but you know that bad things have happened. Her past was very unfortunate. She doesn't have really any money to her name. She is trying to get a job to take care of herself. She, in pursuit of that, leaves England and goes to France to become a teacher at a boarding school. And so that's like kind of the setup. She is trying to provide for herself. She really never expects many good things to happen in her life. She's just kind of accepted that her life is hard and other people get blessings, but she doesn't. That's kind of her like outlook on life. It's very, very like harsh, but she has reasons for being that harsh, and she's very judgmental, but she has reasons for being so. So it's kind of this balance. There's a lot of fourth wall breaks where Lucy will address the reader, and I enjoyed that. It was done really well. Sometimes I feel like books break the fourth wall and it's just awkward and unnecessary, but this felt very personal, like Lucy was talking to you, and I liked it a lot. Charlotte Brontë definitely takes some jabs at Catholics in this book, and I am Catholic, so sometimes those sections were a little bit hard to read, but honestly, it's nothing I haven't heard before in my life, so it's common like misconceptions about Catholics, and there was some good scenes though, where like Lucy, the main character, has some thoughts about Catholics that are kind of like looking down on them and judging them, but then she'll say something nice about them and kind of flip the script a little bit. So it was, sometimes the scenes were hard to read, but other times it was fine. But if you're sensitive to something like that, then just for warning, I guess. But I looked it up, and yeah, Charlotte, the author, had some opinions about Catholics, so it's not really surprising that that's in there. The other thing that I really enjoyed about this book was Lucy is a judgmental character. She's not perfect, right? But she's also an unreliable narrator, and I think that's hard to do sometimes. With this story, it worked really well. Like, Lucy's a very kind of reserved person, so like there are things that she keeps to herself and doesn't tell the reader until later, and it's like, girl, what? You kept that a secret from me the whole time? You knew the whole time? And it really worked really well. It just made sense with her character. Like, she doesn't share things. She's very introverted. She doesn't trust people easily. And so why should she trust me, right? It worked really well. And even though it like made me like feel emotions at times when she'd reveal things that I didn't know before, like it really like got me going like in a good way. One time I was reading before bed, and one of those like reveals happens where you realize that like Lucy hasn't been telling you the whole truth, and I then could not go to bed, and I had to stay up and figure things out. Like I was that Sheldon Cooper meme or like where it says like I don't need sleep, I need answers. Like that was me for sure. And that happens a few times throughout this book, and I still fell for it every time. Like, you'd think I would have learned not to trust Lucy, but I just was sucked in to the story. I think this book is long, and there are definitely sections that drag, but it was so beautifully written and so intricate. Like, the relationships and the emotions tied to it, it just was a wonderful like tapestry of, it felt so real. That's what it felt like. It felt like real life, and it was so complex, but yet it wasn't hard to understand. There were Charlotte has some flowery language that at times I had to reread some sections because I'm like, what are you saying here? But the story itself was easy to understand while at the same time being very complex. The flowery language, yes, Charlotte Brontë loves run-on sentences too. So for warning, like some sentences would go on for like almost a page. And it was like, girl, have you heard of a period? Like, stop using a semicolon and put periods in here. But anyway, that's the English teacher in me talking. But that the sentence structure sometimes could be challenging. So I definitely don't recommend this book if you're new to classics, but the story itself was easy. Just the writing style was challenging at times, if that makes sense. I do want to share some quotes that I enjoyed, so if you don't want like to know anything, I guess just be warned. I'm going to read some quotes from different sections of the book. Towards the beginning of the book, there's a description of love, which it really struck me. It was a far better kind of love than common. I had no doubts about it or him. It was such a love as honored, protected, and elevated, no less than it gladdened her to whom it was given. And isn't that just beautiful? The love that this man gave this woman, it's not Lucy, it's a different woman. She says it honored, protected, and elevated her. It gladdened her. Like, that should be what love is. And I feel like today people mistake love for lust, or mistake love for abusive situations that they stay in. Like, no, true love should do these things. It should gladden, it should protect, honor, elevate. Like, I just like that description. Then Lucy was talking about God's timing. Lucy is a very religious character. She's Protestant. She says she doesn't identify as like one specific kind of Protestant. She's gone to the Lutheran church, she's gone to Anglican, she's gone to a few different other churches, but she is fully Protestant. So that's why she makes, jabs at Catholics. But she talks about God a lot, and there was a quote about God's timing. And I really enjoyed that quote. It's kind of long, so bear with me here. As to what lies below, leave that with God. Man, your equal, weak as you, and not fit to be your judge, may be shut out thence. Take it to your Maker. Show him the secrets of the Spirit he gave, Ask him how you are to bear the pains he has appointed. Kneel in his presence and pray with faith for light in darkness, for strength in piteous weakness, for patience in extreme need. Certainly, at some hour, though perhaps not your hour, the waiting waters will stir. In some shape, though perhaps not the shape you dreamed, which your heart loved and for which it bled, the healing herald will descend. The cripple and the blind, and the dumb and the possessed, will be led to bathe. Herald, come quickly. And she goes on to continue talking about God for a little while, but I really liked that part where it says, like, at some hour, but maybe not your hour, and in some way, but maybe not your way, in some shape, maybe not the shape you dreamed, like, God has a purpose for everything. Take it to him, have him help you bear with things, and in time, in his time, everything will work out. I just really liked that. Later on in the book, Lucy's dealing with some depression. She does throughout the book deal with depression off and on. And someone tells her to cultivate happiness, like just be happy, like cultivate happiness. And she says, no mockery in this world ever sounds to me so hollow as that of being told to cultivate happiness. What does such advice mean? Happiness is not a potato to be planted in mold and tilled with manure. Happiness is a glory shining far down upon us out of heaven. I just like that. Like how am I supposed to just make myself happy? Like, I can't cultivate it. I can't grow it. It's not a potato. Like, I can't just be happy like that. I do think as people, we need to try and find ways to become happy. Like, I deal with depression myself, so like we have to try and seek out happiness if we can, but it's not always possible, right? Like, sometimes you're just sad and it's okay, and sometimes that depression comes in even when you have every reason to be happy, and like it's complicated. And so I liked that. Like, I can't just cultivate happiness. Like, what are you talking about? It's not a potato. Then, like I said, Lucy is a teacher, and at one point in the story, she meets a friend from like years past, and they don't know that she's fallen so low, right? Because like she used to not be in the working class, and now she is. And so like at this time, like to be a teacher, like that means, you know, you're below a certain class of people, right? And she can't afford things. And so this person like is feeling for her, and he's like wondering how she got to where she is, but he's very like polite about it, and he like, she's expecting him to be like judgmental and stuff, but he just says, yours, said he, is an arduous calling. I wish you health and strength to win in it. Success. As a teacher myself, like I've heard it said like, oh, teacher burnout, you know, teaching is hard, you know, some teachers, like many teachers, don't make it for very long because it's a tough job. And like, I feel that. Like, I know I've only been teaching for 1 year, but like I can see how it can be challenging and hard, especially year after year. And so I just think that like him acknowledging that like this is a hard career, and wishing her health and strength to be successful in it, like it was beautiful, especially because when I was reading this, I was still in my first year of teaching. It was like, it felt like he was talking to me like this is a hard job, but I'm wishing you well. And it stuck with me. It stuck with me. It was very personal to me. Okay, I want to talk more in depth about a few scenes. So, spoiler alert, but I'm going to be spoiling things and talking in depth about some things that were really shocking to me. So those times like when Lucy was keeping things from me, oh my gosh. So if you're still watching this, I'm assuming you either know the story or you don't care if I spoil things. So basically, Lucy grew up with these two other people. Like, she met these two other people at an earlier time when she was young. Their names are Graham and Polly. And we get to know them at the very beginning of the book, and then they just disappear after the beginning. And I'm like literally like 200 pages, nearly 200 pages into this book, and I kept thinking about Graham and Polly, and I was like, why did we have them at the beginning of the book? Like, I didn't understand what they were there for. And then it was revealed that a doctor that has been coming to Lucy's school frequently is Graham. He does not go by Graham anymore. Graham is his middle name, and he's been going by Dr. John. So when Dr. John shows up on the scene, like, at first I did not know it was Graham, and Lucy does not tell us that it's Graham. So Dr. John had been around for a while, and then all of a sudden Lucy drops the bomb that's like, oh yeah, and Dr. John is actually Graham, and I've known him since I was a kid, and he just doesn't recognize me because it's been decades since I've seen him, and I've changed, and I look different, and we're in different classes, and I just didn't tell him it was me because I didn't want to make it awkward. And like, oh my gosh, when I realized that she knew him from a child, I was like, girl, what? It caught me so off guard. And I like fell in love with Dr. John along with Lucy. Like, I wanted Lucy to be with him so bad. She falls head over heels for him, and she like won't admit it. She like won't let herself feel that love, but she really, really loves him, and she won't do anything about it. Like, she just, oh my gosh, she cares about him deeply. And oh my gosh, my heart was breaking for Lucy because, oh my gosh, like originally I wanted Graham when I thought it was Graham. Like, at the beginning of the book, I wanted Graham and Polly to be together because they were like this, they were like besties. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be so cute if Polly and Graham grew up and they got married? And then when Dr. John shows up later as an adult, with no Polly around, I was like, oh my gosh, Lucy and Dr. John, Lucy and Graham, oh my gosh, I was started to ship them, guys. Like, I wanted Lucy to marry him. I wanted him to realize like, oh, I love her. And you know what? Graham does love her. Graham loves Lucy, but he loves her like a sister, and that's it. Like, he truly does care about her, but it is purely platonic. And that like it got to me because I felt so bad for Lucy. Like, Lucy's had such a hard life and she can't have him, and she just wants him, and she wants to be swept away and just be happy with him. And then oh my gosh and then we have another character show up, and we then find out that this other character is Polly. She goes by Paulina now because that's her full name. She no longer like shortens it. And then Polly shows back up, and so let me back up a second. One of Lucy's students, I just call her the Flirt because she's annoying. I don't know if I pronounce her name correctly, but it's spelled like Genevra. There's like an R in there. It's not like Geneva. I don't know how to pronounce it. I should have looked it up. But I just call her the Flirt because she flirts with everybody, and she flirts with Dr. John, and Dr. John kind of falls for it for a little while. But then Polly shows up, and you find out that the Flirt is her cousin, and I did not see that coming, and neither did Lucy. So that was like a time when she was caught off guard. But Polly shows up, and so Polly's back in their lives, back in Lucy and Graham's lives, and Graham falls for her hard, and Polly falls for him hard. And it is just heartbreaking to be in Lucy's perspective and like watch them fall in love, because she cares deeply about both of them because she's known them for so long, and she wants them to be happy. And that happiness has to come at the expense of her own, because she loves Dr. John too, and she can't have him. And that was so, like, the emotion surrounding that was just like a lot. It was getting to me. And there are scenes where like Polly will confide in Lucy and be like, oh, like I care about him so much, but what if my dad doesn't approve? And like, what should I do? And like Lucy has to just pretend she doesn't have feelings for him and tries to give her like, she doesn't try to sabotage them at all. Like Lucy does not. Lucy tries to help her. She eventually she does say like, I can't like get involved because it's like too much, but like she does not like lie or try and break them up. She really cares about both of them, and she wants Graham to be happy, she wants Polly to be happy, and she like realizes like, again, like some people are meant to be blessed and be happy and get their happily ever after, and that's not meant for me. And they do, they go off and live happily ever after, Dr. John and Polly, and it's so heart-wrenching for Lucy. Like it just got to me. But okay, now we gotta talk about the ending, because there's a teacher that works with Lucy, a professor, and I hated him. I hated Professor Emmanuel. Like I hated him from the moment he walked on. He was so arrogant and like rude, and I just did not like him, and Lucy does not like him either. Like at first, like she thinks he's like a grumpy little man, and he's very like meticulous, and everything has to be his way, and he will throw a fit, like a temper tantrum, if he doesn't get his way. And oh my gosh, then like I'm not gonna go like super in depth, like you can read the book, but like then things happen, and she starts to see him in a different light, and she starts to fall for him. And I'm like, first of all, I was like, no, don't fall for him. If he's your love interest, like, oh my gosh, he does not even compare to Dr. John. Like I was mad about it. I was like, I know Dr. John is happy with Polly, but like, oh my gosh, you cannot fall for Monsieur Emmanuel. Like, ugh, like I did not like him. But eventually I was kind of won over. And I just wanted Lucy to be happy, and he made her happy. But then guys, the ending of this book, oh my gosh, I'm gonna spoil the ending. They're gonna get married. But he has to go away for a little while. He's got some things he needs to like do in another country and like tie up some loose ends. And so he leaves, and she is waiting for him. And she wanted to open up her own school, and he got her own schoolhouse. Like it was so beautiful, and she's working hard to make her school a success because she wants to make him happy, and she wants to like show him like, oh, like this gift that you gave me, like I truly appreciate it, and I'm gonna make a go at it. And she's working hard until he comes home, and then they're gonna get married and live happily ever after. Guys, the book ends when he's on his way home, and there is a storm, and she doesn't know if he lives or dies, and the book's done. What? And Lucy says like, if you need to tell yourself that we lived happily ever after, then do it, go for it. But she doesn't say that they do live happily ever after. And so like, honestly, I want him to have survived the storm, but I don't believe he did. Like this cliffhanger ending, oh my gosh, like I think he died, and she doesn't get her happily ever after, because I think that's like been her whole life. Like she's always had the happiness ripped away from her, and I feel like this is a tragedy, and she loses again. And oh my gosh, I had a lot of feelings when I read the end of this story. I was like, I wasn't mad, like I just was dumbfounded. I was like, I just couldn't believe that that's how the book ends. And there's a note in the back of the book that like talks about how like Charlotte's father was like, you need to fix the end of your book, because you can't leave it like that. You can't like leave people thinking that Emmanuel is dead. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave it that way. And then there's like a little note that that Charlotte wrote to somebody, or wrote to her publisher. It says, And the note says, with regard to the momentous point, Monsieur Paul's fate, in any case one in future should request to be enlightened thereon, they may be told that it was designed that every reader should settle the catastrophe for himself, according to the quality of his disposition, the tender or remorseful impulse of his nature. Drowning and matrimony are the fearful alternatives. And it basically says, like, you get to decide if you want to drown him or marry him off to Lucy in whatever ending you choose. I'm skipping a little bit. The merciful will, of course, choose the former and milder doom. Drown him and put him out of pain. The cruel-hearted will, on the contrary, pitilessly impale him on the second horn of the dilemma, marrying him without ruth or compunction to that person, that individual, Lucy Snowe. And oh my gosh, like, she was so, like, Charlotte is so, like, cold-hearted to do this. Oh my gosh, she's basically saying drowning is better for him than to marry Lucy. But I for real, I think he drowned and she does not get her happy ending. And I cannot believe that. I just can't. Oh, oh my gosh. I'm getting worked up again. This book was so good. It had parts that lagged, but it was so good. I really loved it. I really, really enjoyed this book and I highly recommend it. It's got everything. It's got sorrow. It's got love. It's got jealousy. Like Lucy even talks about like how like she's never been jealous of Polly because she loves Polly, but then when she thinks that Monsieur Emmanuel is going to marry someone else, she gets really jealous. So it's interesting. It talks about so many different things and working hard, and there are religious tones to this book. There's also kind of a mystery going on too with this like nun that is said to be a ghost at the school where she works, and Lucy sees this ghost sometimes, and you have to like figure out like, is she really seeing a ghost or is something else going on? And I did not expect that like mystery element to this book. And there was so much going on in this book and I really, really loved it. This is definitely a new favorite book of mine. I wouldn't say it's my favorite book of all time, but I really, really loved it. I will not forget it anytime soon. Like, this was a 5-star read. Easily a contender for my best book of the year, for sure. I went on a wild roller coaster of a ride with Villette. Highly recommend. If you've read Villette, I would love to know your thoughts and comments. Like, drop down and we can chat below. I would love to hear what you think. Did that ending, like, what did you think of that ending? What scenario do you think happened? Like, I would love to hear your take on it. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a great week and I will talk to you next Monday. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for talking books with me.